Welcome to our first episode of the Process Doc. In the Process Doc, we're going to take you behind the scenes and share with you a little bit of tips and tricks that will be helpful with how we approach design thinking for a lot of our projects. So on today's episode of the Process Doc, we're going to be chatting about Premier Transportation, and they are most known for transporting political candidates, everything from both sides of the aisle to airplanes to most everybody you'll see out on a campaign trail. They're the ones responsible for transporting, and I cannot wait to share a little bit more about their rebrand. So when it came to designing and rebranding Premier Transportation, we really wanted to take in mind as we were working with Ken and the team that this is a brand that has existed for over 25 years. Now, they're known for transporting political groups, but then they also have distinct demographics with both corporate outings and even personal celebrations, right, in the Nashville area. And so we really wanted to make sure as we approached this rebrand that we thought through distinct design systems that really reflected each of their offerings within their service. So the first tip that I always like to think about when it comes to approaching a project of this size is that creative discipline really equals design freedom. And what do I mean when I say that? So as you think about all the choices, over a period of time, Premier as a brand really started to feel piecemealed. Fonts weren't consistent, typography was all over the place, and things have been added over a period of time. And so by largely restricting the choices and minimizing the choices down, both from color palette and typography, we were able to create distinct design systems and really strong brand collateral for each of their target markets. The second tip that I always want you to think about that we really thought through when it came to their website is you always want to design mobile first. So we know statistically that over 70% of any audience will access your website through a mobile device first and foremost. And in the past, oftentimes web designers would take that and do what we call a one-by-one stack. They would kind of just stack everything that was side by side in a desktop and make it all vertical one by one. But we know that users get really bored by the one-by-one stack, and websites like that don't really convert. And so we really thought about the user experience within this website first and foremost. We wanted to make sure that the user interface was compelling, and also for people that were looking to their coaches, that they could understand the distinct functionalities and features, the amount of seating, and the distinct layouts within each of the different coaches in their fleet. The third tip I always have when looking at projects of this size and a brand that has as high of a level of equity as Premier is to look back in order to go forward. So as we were approaching this rebrand, we really wanted to give it a sense of both timelessness and respecting eras of transportation gone by. So we looked at physical landmarks like Grand Central Station. We even looked at Union Station Inn located here in Nashville, which used to be the Grand Central Station of Nashville, and explored those spaces. We looked at the high arches, the golden molding, the opulence, and also the Art Deco type that typically came with the era, that it had more of a narrow set width, that it was typically sans serif and high vertical to give this sense of grandeur and expansiveness of space. And then as we looked to the submark, we decided to design within the round after studying and researching a lot of different railroad companies and their emblems. We also thought about extending that vertical horizontal line on the P to really connect everything together and give you a sense of movement as we ushered in a new era for Premier Transportation. Bringing their design solutions and creating individual systems for each of their offers really allowed us to correctly identify both their users and collateral throughout their rebrand process. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Process Doc, and we can't wait for you to tune in and join us next time.